Welcome back to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
We're here for the second time in a week. Man, we got a lot of questions. You guys want to know a lot of things, I guess. You guys,
Inquiring minds.
You guys are very inquisitive, yes.
If you missed out on the patron and Ko-Fi and people who throw us money edition, that was back on Monday. Go on back, get those questions answered for yourself. But today it's entirely standard Q&A. All you lovely folks who have been super patient and don't want to give us money, which is also cool. I understand. It's been a year. I think we can all agree on that. It's
been a lifetime.
People keep saying 2020 it's going to be over soon. It's like, no, this is just chapter 1, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, wait, it's like it's not going to just end at the hard cutoff of 2020, guys. I'm sorry, it's not how it works. You're trying though. If it helps you get through the day, then I guess. But man, it's Anyway,
Kyle, how can the lovely people ask their questions to the show?
Well, as with this episode, since it's all standard Q&A, we're taking questions from email. So you can email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com. We've also got questions from Twitter at BumbleKast. And you can ask your questions down in the YouTube comments. If you are interested in supporting us and sending us money to answer your question quicker, we do have Ko-fi available. That's kofi.com/BumbleKast. You can also become a patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, where you can answer questions, or you can ask your questions in the comments, messages, or in the private patron-only Discord. Keep in mind that if we have answered your question, if it's a question we have answered within the last few episodes, is on the FAQ over at bumbleking.com, or is about past Sonic plans that will be covered in Lost Hedgehog Tales, then we likely won't answer it. If your question hasn't been answered in a while, check those places. All right, here we go. Let's jump right into it with a Q&A from RedScarfUK. For both Ian and Kyle, if you could insert yourself as a character in the Sonic universe, what species would you be and why?
Yes, Kyle, what species would you be?
I don't know. The only Sonic-style character I've ever had was an armadillo, so we'll go with that.
That's a good one.
I guess. I don't know why. It's just, how connected are species and personalities? They don't seem to always be... I don't always
within the Sonic universe or within
the
greater
within the Sonic universe.
Okay, because I was about to say that's a topic that's
no
a whole episode by itself.
No, I know that's a different topic completely. No. I meant the Sonic universe. It doesn't really seem like personality and species don't always necessarily line up.
Not particularly. I mean, you might be able to draw a few parallels here and there, but I don't think there's any that are too concrete.
No. I don't know what the decision is as far as making characters goes. Like, when you make up a character, what comes first? The character or the design, the species? I mean,
it varies from project to project, I imagine. Like, Shadow obviously being built on the concept of a doppelganger to Sonic had to be a hedgehog-like creature.
Well, yeah.
And Sonic famously went through a bunch of different species and concepts.
A bunch of different incarnations. But, I mean, like, when you're coming up with characters now for the comic or whatever, do you think about any of that?
It varies from character to character. Like, Tangle was initially conceptualized as a rabbit. But Whisper was always a wolf. Rough and Tumble, I had no idea. I had so many different options, and I just kind of threw the design doc out there saying, here's the general concept, go nuts. And Tyson Hess did something amazing with it. And Starline was very specific, but that's for greater themes moving into 2021.
Oh boy.
Well, we can talk about that in the future, provided there's still civilization.
Bold of you to assume.
And as for me, for personal reasons, it would be the Pato.
I had a feeling I was going to guess that. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was that was making me think Pato, but But yeah.
If you don't know what it is, look it up. They're neat little critters.
Indeed.
Second place, runner-up, fallback idea, Muntjac. Because who needs another hedgehog or another fox or another dog or another cat? Give me them weird critters. If I can't be a Pato, let me be the tusked barking deer of Asia.
I'm into it. I'll take it. Next question comes from Tik Tik. Now that modern merchandise for Super Tales exists, do you think you would approach using other super characters, or would you still avoid trying just to play it safe?
I keep coming up to this point when we're answering a lot of questions is, with IDW, I went in assuming that things are going to run a lot like Archie Sonic and approvals, and constantly being surprised. And at this point, I should probably just stop doing that. So, I mean, I'm still pretty sure that Super Tales and other super forms are considered a classic element. But you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If the story would benefit from it, sure, I'm going to shoot for it. The worst I can do is tell me no.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, I think that's just specifically a reference for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but still, it's pretty cool that there actually is some Super Tales stuff out there now.
Well, you can do it in Mania, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a classic thing, then, I guess.
Probably, but hey, classic wasn't really a thing until fairly recently.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What is no today can be yes tomorrow.
Sure. As usual when it comes to Sega. All right, next up from Gawdzilla. Shadow seems to be the character everyone has an opinion on these days, especially compared to the Archie days, comparing the Archie days to IDW. I think the part people tend to overlook is the impact Hope Kintobor had on Shadow in the Archie run, as almost a therapy human / Maria 2.0 for him, while the Shadow of the Game / IDW just had to move on from his past on his own. In retrospect, do you think that Hope's presence may have hindered Archie Shadow's healing process more than helped?
No. With Archie Sonic Shadow, that was based on the characterization that they were working on at the time, which was kind of straight off of 06, the almost reluctant hero, the grim protector, the lone wolf that still will do what's right, the interesting and enjoyable Shadow. And Hope was more built off of him than he was off of her. If Hope did not exist, I don't really see the stories being any particularly different. And it's been a while, but I can't particularly think of any story that really hinged on their interactions. I mean, there is that scene of them on the mountaintop, but it's not like that was one of the key moments for Shadow. When I think back on it, I think more of her moments with Snively and Omega, which is where it was the most interesting. And yeah, there were definitely parallels. I'm not saying that. But I don't really see her as being that heavy of an influence on Shadow's overall characterization. Shadow's characterization, in quotation marks, in the present day is the direction Sega wants him to go, and that is where we must follow.
All right, next one is from Mike B. Do you think the Freedom Fighters in their most current iteration are better suited to go along with the Gamecast, but have more supportive roles, or do their own thing with the Gamecast, supporting them from time to time?
Oh, put me in front of the firing line, why don't you, Mike? I think the last incarnation of the Freedom Fighters that we saw would fit into the modern Sonic universe. That was the point of their redesigns and retooling.
Right, yeah.
But I think that should they come back in whatever fashion, whatever avenue we find, they are supporting characters. They have always been supporting characters. Back in Sat AM, there wasn't really a supporting cast. You had Tails and Amy, who were so new that the development team didn't know about them. Knuckles hadn't really been invented yet, and you had Eggman. That's it. The Freedom Fighters were invented to be the extended cast. Now the game cast is that extended cast. The niche has been filled. So the Freedom Fighters would be additions to that. So don't expect them to return and become the main focus of IDW Sonic anytime soon. They would probably be, I don't know, featured in a story arc, be reoccurring characters, but they're not going to supplant the game cast in terms of importance. The characters from the product have to take precedence. That's just how it goes. The Archie comics were this bizarre anomaly that we got a lot of great mileage out of, but there was still a lot of debate even back when they were still coming out over how much the original material was overshadowing the core material, which the larger audience is going to be looking for. It's a really big debate with a lot of nuance to it that's been going on for 15 years. So we're not going to solve it or address it all today.
Sure.
But I don't see the Freedom Fighters coming back and crowding out the game cast anytime soon.
Next up from Liam B. Why was it chosen that Sally had to see somebody else, Monkey Khan, in order to realize that she wanted to be with Sonic again? How does the time progression in that scenario work?
I feel like we've covered this before, but with Sally's personal arc, where I came on, Carl Bowlers had aimed to have Sally be very damaged by the year in space type of thing, which led to the infamous slap that he wrote. And that was built, that's where I had to build back from. So what I wanted to do first and foremost was to patch things up between Sonic and Sally as friends so that they could return to an equal footing. There was a lot of baggage between them. I wanted to unpack that first before trying to rebuild anything else. Another thing is that Sally has been the focus of a lot of bad relationships within the book, pre-reboot, and I wanted to give her a romantic angle that allowed her some control this time around. The Jeffrey St. John thing was creepy, to be kind. And the Sonic angle was kind of preordained. It was from the mentality of, here's the lead male, here's the lead female, they have to be together. And they are fun in that odd couple sort of way, but it never felt like it was earned. It was, this is the trope, this is what you do. And of course, Sonic gets the girl. Well, okay, what does the girl get? What does the girl want? So the subplot of her investigating other romantic interests was to give her her own autonomy in her own life and her own relationships. Khan factored into it because that was the story arc that was approved that we were going on, and to help redeem his character, who was not a fan favorite at that point, I guarantee you, to help illustrate his changing character, we had Sally show some interest because she saw the heroism within him, and by through her eyes seeing his redemption and his turnaround, it became a little more palatable to the reader that this guy who was a jerk beforehand really had changed. There's a whole issue with her and Bunny where they kind of discuss this and why she is interested in anybody. So that was kind of the thinking behind it, was that to let Sally have a life outside of Sonic, see where it took her, and she went a certain direction and found that no, she was interested in Khan, but it was for kind of the wrong reasons. And it helped clarify for her that, yeah, she really did want to go back and try to patch things up with Sonic. And that way, the romance is built and it is grown, and it isn't just, here, they're together because we say so.
Is Monkey Khan a Star Trek reference?
I don't think. I'm pretty sure he's all Journey to the West.
Oh, okay. Okay, that does make a little more sense now that I think.
I mean, they did have the extremely hand-fisted Trek reference in that one really, really bad issue, but no, I'm pretty sure he's meant exclusively to be a nod to Journey to the West and a very broad swath of Eastern folklore.
Okay. Yeah, that is definitely a product of, like, 90s nerdiness.
Yeah.
Where adult nerds at that time were into stuff from, like, the 70s and the 60s and 70s. So, yeah, the books in the 90s tended to have, like, a lot more other comic book references and Star Trek references and things like that. But no references to the actual, game material. No, we can't have that. So, yeah, it's just kind of funny to think about the differences between nerds writing stuff back then and nerds writing stuff now, where the nerds now are actually into the product that they're writing instead of just writing something and then throwing in the things that they like on top of it. So, next up, got a question here from Starline Simp for Life, which is a great name. Fantastic.
Very illustrative.
Yes. You must simp for Starline. He would enjoy that. I think Starline would like that. Or, I don't know, maybe he'd hate it. I don't know. Hey, Ian, as someone who absolutely loves Harley Quinn and Dr. Starline, I couldn't help but notice similarities between them, these two being the most noticeable of parallels. Were you inspired by the Harley or Batman the Animated Series story Mad Love when writing Starline?
So I'm glad they provided the link, because the initial question made me kind of head tilt and go, what? How? No, why? But within the context of Mad Love, when you have a eccentric professional who becomes enamored with a dangerous, flamboyant sociopath,
yeah,
and burned for it. Okay, if you look at it that way, if you step back and put the pieces in order like that, I can see how you would make that connection. No, Starline was not based off of Harley at all, but I see where you're drawing parallels to.
All right, here's one from Sonic Blue Ranger. I don't know if this has been asked before, but what was the writing process for your contributions to the IDW TMNT comic like? Did you have to break the stories with Tom Waltz?
No, I was invited to pitch a few things, given kind of in some cases, given a premise to work with, or given a basic rundown of, okay, this is where we are in the story, and these are the kind of elements we want investigated. Go. And I pitched those, and those were all reviewed internally and came back to me. If Mr. Waltz had any input on it, I don't know. I really don't. All my notes came from IDW editorial, which led to my probably crowning achievement, which is that Michelangelo macro story. I am so freaking proud of that, man. that came together so well.
Yes.
And it actually got referenced in the regular book after that.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Stuff that I have created has been folded into the main canon, and that's just yee.
I was going to ask something and now I completely forgot it. Oh, well.
Submit your question either to BumbleKast@yahoo.com, tweet to us.
Hey, come on. I could just text message you whatever. You can't do this to me, man. I don't know. I'm not here. Whatever. Fine. You could just call me one of those. You think I'm one of them regular folk? You fine regular folk who listen to the show and enjoy it. Thank you very much. Please keep listening to it. We appreciate it very much. And we don't mean to insult you by calling you regular. We hope that you are very regular and that you do go to the bathroom regularly. And that it's normal.
Keep digging, buddy. Keep digging. You've almost hit the Antarctic.
I am almost there. I've almost gone all the way through the world. Journey to the center of the opposite side of the earth. Anyway, here's one from Breezy. There's been a lot of animosity directed at recent portrayals in the comics. Shadow for being an arrogant jerk, and Tails for cowering in fear as he does before Chaos Zero enforces. A lot of naysayers pointed fingers at Ian for this, which is unfair because I know he cares about the proper personality and characterization of the cast, just like the rest of us. Would you mind clearing up any misinformation on this?
I don't know if I can, honestly. The crowd that wants to be angry at me will find any reason to be angry. They have entrenched themselves in their viewpoint, and nothing I say or do is going to change their minds on that. All I can do is, say what I can on Twitter and answer your questions here on the BumbleKast. And everyone else, it's up to them to decide who they're going to believe. I would hope that the outside observer would do a little research or get a little context, or in the case of Tails' situation, actually read what's going on in the book. But one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially when you put yourself on the internet as kind of a product, I guess. I am out there with my words and deeds to be consumed by everyone else, is you can't police the internet. People are going to have their opinions, and they're going to keep them whether they have anything to back it up or not. So let the book stand on its own merits. Let me stand up on my own merits. And if folks want to interpret things a certain way or believe a certain set of folks, that's beyond my control.
And next up, Eduardo Q has a question. For characters based on video game properties, especially long-running ones, how do you balance which abilities they are able to use in a story? I imagine this was much easier for Mega Man, as the aspect of temporarily copying weapons is pretty much already defined in the series itself, but I'm wondering how you do it for someone like Sonic, who in his almost 30-year-long run has had all types of abilities, from double jumps to creating tornadoes.
Yeah, it's a tricky balancing act.
Yeah.
Typically, you got to look at what is kind of the standard for the series. Stuff that is synonymous with the character, stuff that has become so ingrained that when it's missing from it, you go, wait, when did that change? Like, we've had the homing attack since 1999. That's a given. Sonic can do that. We've had the boost mechanic since... Oh, shoot. When did Unleashed come out?
2006, I think.
2006?
I believe. Yeah. No, it was like 2008. There we go. Yeah. Sonic 06 was 2006. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, derp. So 2008, that's 12 years. That's pretty established. When was the last time he used Sonic Wind? When was the last time he used Blue Tornado?
That's Heroes.
Yeah, the one-off abilities you can kind of ignore or trot them out on occasion to say, hey, here's my nerd cred. You remember this?
Yeah.
You also have to take into effect what is going to break the narrative. I mean, Silver, by all rights, should be just obscenely overpowered by what he can do in cutscene. That's another thing. What do you do compared to in-game gameplay and what's shown off in the cutscenes? Because some of the stuff that they do, especially Silver, is just nuts. And you can't do it in game. So there is no good single answer to that. You just kind of play it by ear and get a feel for the characters themselves and how would it best work for the story. And hope to high heaven you don't forget something that would be an easy out for them.
Well, Boost predated Unleashed because it was in Sonic Rush originally.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, which was 2005, so... Yeah, Boost has been around for a long time. And I mean, if you want to go back even further, you could say, oh, we've had the Spin Dash since 1992. So, things like that. There's some things that are... There's certain moves in Sonic's repertoire that are pretty well established that you can pull from. But, I mean, there are things like one-off games where he had a certain move that he never really uses again, so...
I mean, he swims in Sonic Jam. Do you want to count that? No, because that's one of the defining things about him is that he can't swim.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the most fun aspects of his character. It's like, this is his, like, seemingly one weakness is water.
And then, the figure 8 peel out was a big deal in Sonic CD, and then come Lost World, it's just him running super fast. It's a state of being, so.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's also two different Sonics, apparently, also, so...
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So... It's funny, the super peel out is weird because it, like, doesn't actually do anything.
It looks sick,
It
dude.
looks cool. It looks awesome, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's actually worse because you're not spinning when you use it, so you can just run right into an enemy or some spikes or something, and you have zero protection. But it looks cool. Yes, it does look cool.
Kind of a tangent, but it reminds me of something that I kind of miss is the old whirling legs shorthand.
Yeah.
You don't really do that with modern Sonic, unfortunately.
No.
And I'm glad I was able to get this to happen at least once in the book. Back with the Adam Tommy multi-Chaos Emerald story, there's just this one scene where Sonic comes around a corner, and I described it as him, banking around the corner like a motorcycle so that those whirling legs kind of look like a wheel tilting at 45 degrees. And Tracy rendered it perfectly, and it looked so cool, and it was everything I wanted. So at least we got that once. But you can't really do that anymore because we don't have that visual shorthand anymore. And wham.
Yeah. Oh, well. We have one last question here from Coco. If you had to choose between Goku or Vegeta, who would you choose?
Do I have to? They're both awful.
Yeah, I was gonna say they both kind of suck, and the only experience I have with Dragon Ball Z has been Dragon Ball Z Abridged. So even in that, they both kind of suck.
I mean, granted, those are very Flanderized interpretations,
yes,
hilarious ones, but all the same.
Yeah, I know they're not 100% accurate, but still, even then, I can tell they kind of suck.
I mean, Goku, I guess, edges out on top in that he's not antagonistic. Any wrongdoing he does is thoughtlessness on his part. And the ending to Dragon Ball Super Broly kind of highlighted the better parts of his character, I think, where he is all about the fight, to be sure, but he's still compassionate when he thinks to be. So, all right, we'll give it to Goku on that, even if he is neglectful and about as dense as a brick. Vegeta has a fantastic character arc, but he is still responsible for the death of millions, at least, possibly more. Even as a small child, he was taking part in genocidal raids to prepare planets for occupation. If you want to take the anime as semi-canon, one episode he obliterates an entire planet for the giggles. Just because he wants to. It wasn't in his way. It didn't do anything particularly to wrong him. He just blows it up. He literally makes a Faustian deal and murders people so that he can get back into gear with the focus of fighting Goku. He's a bad man. It said it on the shirt. Yeah, he's come around. He's found redemption, but that's a lot of blood on his hands.
Yeah.
People tend to forget that.
I'll go with option 3, Android 18.
Yeah, okay.
Option 3. That's the option I'm making up. Android 18.
She's kind of just as bad in the amount of bodies, but you could also explain away that it was, kind of not her fault because of Jiro.
She's a robot. I don't know, man.
Android, cyborg, but
whatever.
As the bridge has already covered that for us.
I don't know. Krillin's kind of funny, at least in DBZA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Krill.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, I think that's it for this episode of the BumbleKast. We're a little bit shorter this week, or this episode compared to the one earlier this week. So, hey, enjoy that. Yeah. Didn't have anything too crazy, except for the one from Mike B. Oh boy.
The Mikest of Mikes. I see what you're doing. What did he ask again?
This is the one about the freedom fighters.
I know.
Okay.
It's funny because I act all incensed, and then
you were making the joke. You were being the funnies. I get it.
I was making with the funny.
Let's give a shout out to the patrons and the people who help us out by supporting us on patreon.com/BumbleKast. We got Daniel H., Salute Your Cat, Robotnik Holmes, Groovy K2000, Rachel W., Invade Turbotunus, Scorched Freedom, Jonathan D., a.k.a. Ink Pants, Sony, Blue Title Gamer, Koopaling Crew, Andrew D., Papa Dreepopolis, Matthew S., Chris A., John B., Jennifer R., Torchbound, Jennifer H., Lisa M., Piggy Bank, Daniel B., Somewhat Gooey, a.k.a. Breezy, Gawdzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Lauren W., Owen B., Preston M., Yummy M., Tik Tik, Justin S., Silly String, Tukaro, Overthinking Films, Don B., John M., Chauvel, Mike B., Din, Samuel P., Alex P., Justin G., Dave M., Sam Cybercat, and Final Neil. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us. And if you want to support us, too, go. Patreon.com/BumbleKast. Go now. Ian, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC, my personal website, BumbleKing.com, and my weekly free webcomic, Drogoon. That's DROGUNE.com. What about you, Kyle?
You can find me over at KyleJCRB on Twitter. You can also check out kngi.org, where you can find archived episodes of the BumbleKast in MP3 downloadable format for your listening pleasure on any device. That's where you can also find all the podcast feed links and other stuff. And you can also find my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which also streams live on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Listen to that for some awesome video game music remixes, arrangements, covers, and all of that fun stuff. You can find the archived episodes of that over at kngi.org as well.
Follow the show on Twitter at BumbleKast. Contact us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com. And you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, or our YouTube channel, and kngi.org.
Don't forget to also check out the Bumble Store, shop.spreadshirt.com/BumbleStore. Get you some Bumble gear with the Bumble logo on it. It's all very bumbly, so go check it out.
And don't forget to catch us on BumbleKast Gaming live on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/BumbleKast Gaming. Sundays around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and possibly throughout the week. Keep your eye on our Twitter handle at BumbleKast for updates, or subscribe to us on Twitch and find out whenever we're going to go.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the BumbleKast. Any last words, Ian?
Kumquat. Sniggle. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Fight the power. Row. Fight the power. Okay.
Open that up. Close this. I don't need this open. Oh,
see you in your chat.
Log in Patreon.
Never mind, I'll hang out with chat while Kyle gets things together.
Oh, I mean, you can start.
Well, no, you're muttering to yourself. That'll get picked up.
Your face is muttering to itself.
ASMR time with Kyle as he cusses at inanimate objects.
Your face is muttering to itself.
Well, it does. I can't deny that.
Shut up.
Sorry. Excuse me.
You okay?
I forgot how to breathe for a second.
You might want to remember.
It happens. Anyway.
Okay. As someone with asthma, yeah, I guess. But come on, go. Okay, go. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. haven't you used kumquat before? It's like, is kumquat the first thing you think of when you think of a word?
It's such a fun word, man.
I mean, it is. It is. I'm not going to deny it, but it's kind of funny. Like, wait a minute, kumquat. What is this? Was this several episodes ago when we did the same bit?
Yeah,
not sure.
You said, any final words? I'm like, yes, I'm going to rip off somebody else that's very funny and try this, and then immediately blank on every single funny word in the English language.
Except for kumquat.
Except for kumquat. For some reason, that kumquats to me.
Sure. Kumquat.
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 Welcome to the BumbleKumquat. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the BumbleKumquat. Joining me as always is my BumbleKumquat. That's hard to say very fast when you're not prepared for it.
the Kumquat cast.
My co-host, Kumquat JCRB.
Yes. Where is this going? What are we doing with our lives?
We're going to see how long it takes for the word to lose all meaning.
Oh, okay. That reminds me of, like, there was a time when I was a kid, I had a friend, and for some reason, I don't know why, I was like 12 years old at the time, I think. 12, 13, it was 97, 98, yeah, so it would have been about 11, 12. I remember he was staying overnight, and I think we were playing, I don't know, Resident Evil 2 or something. We're playing some PS1 and N64 games, and for some reason, he said the word chip really weird, or something. I don't know. It was just the word chip, but it set me off on like this weird laughing fit, and he kept repeating it. He's like, chip, 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 chip. And it just set me off for some reason. I don't know why. It's like,
I feel like I've had a similar circumstance.
The word had apparently lost all meaning to me, and it just was silly. So yeah, that was weird. Anyway, I don't know where this was going, Ian, but I do know chip.
You're not gonna get me started. We're done here.
Okay. Chip.
Okay. No.
See, now I'm doing it.
Not working your magic. Stop it.
I don't know how. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just saying chip.
Not doing it. Not doing
it. Okay, fine.
You contextualize it now. Now I can't hear the word. Blast you. Blast you. Cross.
It's like repeating the word oven. Oven. Chip.
Nah, you ruined it.
I know, I did. Valerie says oven Stanley. Sorry, Evan. But that was funny. Oh, that's funny.
I think we need to be done. We're meandering into nonsense.
We are, yeah, we're something broke us this episode. I don't know what it was.